Every Sunday, millions of Americans gather in living rooms and bars in massive stadiums to watch one thing: football. But what if I told you that this national obsession wasn't truly born in America at all? It began across the ocean, in England, where two rough, chaotic games called rugby and soccer collided. And from that chaos, something new began to take shape.
Run.
Fast forward to autumn, 1876. Leaves are falling, the air smells of cold grass, and on a quiet college field in Massachusetts, a group of young men are about to make history. No helmets, no pads, no rules, only brute strength and the will to win. They charge at each other, full speed. Bodies collide, bones crack, blood spills on the field. And somehow this madness became America's favorite game. What started as a brutal mix between rugby and soccer would soon evolve into something far greater, a sport that defines a nation. But make no mistake, the journey wasn't glorious. It was soaked in sweat, controversy, and even death. At one point, newspapers called it legalized killing. 18 players died in a single season. Universities banned it. Parents were terrified. And the President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt, had to step in to save it. So how did a violent, chaotic pastime transform into the most watched spectacle in America? How did this raw, dangerous sport become the cultural heartbeat of a nation? This is the story of how a country built its identity, one tackle at a time. Before it became an American symbol, football was once a chaotic pastime on the fields of England. In the mid-19th century, at schools like Rugby and Cambridge, students played a rough form of mob football, a strange mix of soccer and something far more violent. No one knows who made the first rule, only that one day, in a surge of adrenaline, a young man picked up the ball and ran straight through the crowd. And at that moment, the history of sports changed forever. From that reckless act, two paths emerged. One led to soccer, the game we know today. The other, more brutal and untamed, became rugby. When the United States welcomed British students and culture, they also brought this curious game across the Atlantic. At Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Columbia, young men began by following the English football rules, but soon added their own American twist. More force, more collision, and far more chaos. They didn't just kick the ball, they charged, tackled, and threw themselves at one another. It wasn't just sport anymore, it was combat disguised as a game. In 1876, in the quiet town of Massachusetts, representatives from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Columbia met to create their own version of the rules. They still called it football, but what they built was something entirely different. It was no longer the game of gentlemen, it was the game of warriors. A new kind of football, the American kind. And so, from the misty fields of England, across the roaring Atlantic, through the hands of fierce young Americans, a new legend was born: American football. By the late 19th century, American football had spread like wildfire across the nation's universities. Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Columbia, each sought to prove who was stronger, tougher, and more relentless. But beneath the cheers and the glory, a darker truth was waiting to be uncovered. No helmets, no chest pads, just flesh, bone, and willpower. On muddy fields, students charged at each other like ancient warriors. Every clash sounded like cracking bones. Every fall left a trail of blood on the grass. And the crowd screamed, not for the sport, but for survival. Then tragedy struck. In 1905, newspapers across America exploded with headlines. The Chicago Tribune printed in bold, "Football death list, 18 dead, 137 maimed." 18 players died that season. Hundreds more suffered broken necks, shattered skulls, crushed lungs. Some died on the field, others days later in hospital beds. Columbia, Northwestern, Stanford, one by one universities banned football. Parents wrote desperate letters to school presidents. Please, or stop this. This game is killing our sons. The press called it a legalized murder. But in the storm of outrage, one man stood up. A president with an iron heart and an unshakable belief in the American spirit, Theodore Roosevelt. In 1905, Roosevelt summoned the leaders of Harvard, Yale, and Princeton to the White House. He slammed his hand on the table and said, "You must change the game, or I will end it myself." That moment saved football from extinction. The universities agreed to reform, introducing clearly marked field lines, adding the first down rule, and for the first time, allowing the forward pass. These changes didn't just make football safer, they rebuilt it. From the mud, blood, and bones, a new sport emerged. Smarter, faster, and more tactical. American football had survived, and it was ready to enter its golden age. When the rules changed, the game changed forever. No longer was it pure chaos and broken bones. It became strategy, precision, and power. The forward pass, once illegal, turned football into a thinking man's war. The field, once soaked in blood, became a chessboard of motion and speed. Every yard now mattered. Every second was a battle between genius and strength. In 1906, the newly formed Intercollegiate Athletic Association, later known as the NCAA, began enforcing safety, structure, and order. From the ashes of violence rose a new era of glory. Colleges began building stadiums. Tens of thousands filled wooden bleachers every weekend. Marching bands played, flags waved. Football was no longer just a game, it was a spectacle. And soon the Titans emerged. Names that would echo for generations. Harvard, Yale, Princeton, then Notre Dame, Michigan, Army, and Navy. Each fielded warriors who became national heroes. Then in 1920, something extraordinary happened. A group of dreamers and athletes gathered in a car showroom in Canton, Ohio, and founded what would become the National Football League. From college rivalries to professional glory, America had created its own modern myth. A sport that mirrored its soul, bold, violent, strategic, and beautiful. Football was no longer fighting to survive. It was here to conquer. The 1950s and 1960s, the age when television changed everything. For the first time, millions of Americans could watch a single game together, united by the glowing light of their living room screens. The Super Bowl was born, and within just a few years, it became the biggest sporting event on earth. A game that turned into a national holiday, a stage where heroes were crowned and legends made. Football was no longer just a college pastime. It became a Sunday religion. Every pass, every tackle, every touchdown felt like a story written for the American spirit. Behind the glory, there was pain. Broken bones, concussions, and lives changed forever. For decades, players sacrificed their bodies so that others could feel the thrill of the game. But America did not stop. Technology evolved, medicine advanced, and thousands of new safety rules were created to protect the players, yet still preserve the soul of combat. Today, the NFL stands as the pinnacle of American sport, watched by hundreds of millions each year during the Super Bowl. Its players are no longer just athletes, but cultural icons, symbols of strength, endurance, and ambition. Men like Jim Brown, who fought not only on the field, but also for civil rights. Colin Kaepernick, who took a knee and sparked a national conversation. Tom Brady, a symbol of longevity and relentless will. Through them, football became more than sport. It became a mirror for society's struggles, a voice for unity, and a stage for courage. From locker rooms to living rooms, Football shaped how America sees itself. Strong, determined, imperfect, yet always striving for greatness. Football is not just a sport, it's a story, written with sweat, sacrifice, and unbreakable will. It teaches that progress is built on pain, and that victory means nothing without teamwork. Every Sunday, millions still gather in homes, bars, and roaring stadiums to witness not just a game, but a reflection of who they are. Football reminds America that life, like the game, is about falling down and getting back up. It's about strategy, courage, and faith in the people beside you. From chaos to culture, from blood to brotherhood, football became more than entertainment. It became America's beating heart. So the next time you see a player charge down the field, remember, you're not just watching a sport, you're witnessing history, passion, and the spirit of a nation that refuses to give up. Thank you for watching. This is the story of American football. Born in chaos, raised in courage, and destined to endure forever.